happy Friday. I know I started doing pretty continuously there on Saturday, only 2 times I guess. But I want to keep doing on Saturdays. I feel like that's a good time. But I'll mix it up, and I have some plans for this Saturday, so hopefully this works for time-wise, for sharing some additional insights and strategies you can use in your life. So what I'm going to talk about today is the importance of fundamentals. And there are lots of fundamentals that we can apply into our life, but this one is the fundamentals of having a powerhouse morning routine. So I want you to think with me for a second about just how powerful fundamentals are, like learning the basics. So if you think about, athletes or artists, musicians, any skill, there are specific fundamentals to that activity, that to be an expert in that field, or I should say even the experts in that field still do the fundamentals, or focus on mastering those fundamentals, because it's those simple basic steps that allow us to become masters at something and to become so good at what we do. So if you don't practice those fundamentals, those basic steps, then you can get hurt. Like, for example, warming up before a run, that's something basic. If you don't do that and just jump right into it and go all out, it's not going to turn out so well. Or, if you're not doing the fundamentals of music or art or sports, you can stunt your progress, or make it more difficult for yourself to take it to the next level, because you haven't learned and mastered those fundamental basic steps. So in my own life, I'll just use an example real quick. I love racquetball, and I started playing and didn't exactly, I had some training and whatnot, but nothing super professional, and so I kind of learned, I just developed my own way of swinging. It wasn't bad or wrong, but when I got on a team and started learned the proper way to hold my racket and to swing at the ball, it was difficult at first to switch to that new way of swinging, because I had that habit that I had previously developed. And so those first few months of practicing and trying to get down that fundamental aspect of how to hold the racket and swing were difficult and kind of frustrating. I wanted to go back to that old way of holding it, because I knew I could hit the ball like that. But what I also realized is that if I went back to that old way of swinging, that I wasn't going to get any better. My percentage of kill shots would stay the same, which wasn't very good. But as I persisted in mastering that fundamental skill, how to hold the racket and swing, my percentage of kill shots increased. I became more accurate, and I began to enjoy the game more, and my skill level increased dramatically. So that's what I want to talk about today, that this fundamental of having a powerhouse morning routine may seem awkward at first, may be a little bit difficult to implement, or just feel a little bit unnatural, but if you persist at it and keep trying to implement it in your life, I know that it's going to give you the basics, the foundation, to be able to have the success that you want in your life, to have day after day of success and happiness. So let's get into it. The first step in a powerhouse morning routine, and I'm sure that there are, just a disclaimer, I'm sure there's a variety of different ways to have a powerhouse morning routine, but these are just kind of like the basics that I use in my routine, and what I have gathered from other people when I've talked to them about their routines. So take what you can from it, implement what you like, and maybe add something that works really well for you. But the first step, be grateful. And I know all through my life I've heard of the importance of being grateful. And I believed it and knew it, but I never really fully did it as a practice until recently. And it is amazing the power of it, because you see, if we're always coming from a place or the perspective of not having, then it doesn't matter how much we do get. We'll always feel like we're lacking. But if we can cultivate this perspective and attitude of gratitude, common phrase you probably heard, but yeah, if we can cultivate this perspective of gratitude and being able to recognize the abundance in our life, then it won't matter how much we have or don't have. We'll always feel like we have an abundance. And this doesn't mean that you get to a point where that you're just grateful for where you're at, and that you don't want to achieve more or have more. That's not what this is about. Because as human beings, we need to grow, we need to progress. But it's about being grateful for what has brought you to this point, grateful for arriving at this point and being here, and just recognizing everything that is good and right in your life, and then wanting to move forward and continue progressing. So by creating this mentality of gratitude, or this perspective of abundance, we can approach life with a sense of giving and serving, instead of a sense of needing or taking. And that's what really helps us to progress and to have a much happier and fulfilled life, is to approach it from a sense of giving and serving. And I think the best way to do that is by being grateful and focusing on everything that we have been blessed with and that we do have. So that's the first step. The second step is to take action and create motion. So yeah, motion, just M. Create motion in the beginning of your day, because motion creates emotion. And what I mean by that is the motion you do with your body creates a feeling within you. So if you start your day by, slowly moping around, getting ready, or slouching down as you read the news or whatever you do, and there's not a lot of motion there, then it's not going to create the type of energy or positive emotion that is going to fuel your day. So I'm not saying, because I know it is difficult to, for a lot of people to just jump out of bed and go on a run or exercise or whatever. So I'm not saying to jump right into that. What I'm saying is to start with some kind of motion that is going to create a positive feeling within you for that day. So it can be simple, like just getting up and just going for a 5-minute walk while you think of everything that you're grateful for. It could be doing some stretches or some yoga, or maybe air punching. Whatever feels good for you. And if you really don't feel like you have time to do even those simplest bits of motion, I would recommend to at least smile. And I love this one. And I know it sounds silly, but I've started doing this in my own life, and I love the results. Whenever I notice that I have kind of like a negative feeling, or I'm worried or scared, or maybe, just not so happy about something or frustrated, I just force myself to smile. Not even looking in a mirror or anything, right in that moment, I just put on the biggest smile that I can. And inside, I may not feel like it, but as soon as I smile, it's amazing. Something changes within me. And it's the smallest little bit of action, the smallest motion, to just put on a big grin, and immediately it creates a different type of feeling within myself. So I know, hopefully that doesn't sound too crazy for you guys, because it is such a powerful tool. Motion creates emotion. So what kind of motion are you doing in the morning? And pick a motion that will create positive feelings. All right, finally, the third step for a powerhouse morning routine is to pre-frame yourself for the day. So at any age, there are plenty of outside influences that are wanting to pour into our minds and influence how we think and feel. But especially today, we have social media instantly. You can wake up and the first thing you can do is get on your phone, look at social media, or look at the news, listen to the news, and we have to be in control of what goes into our mind first thing in the morning, because we are the ones that are in control of our lives. And so this is the importance of this final step. You don't want outside influences to be the first ones that tell you what to think or feel in the morning. You want to be the one that decides. So in this third step, pre-framing yourself, think about, how do I want to interact with others today? How do I want to respond to my spouse, or to my children, or to my coworkers, or random people that I meet? What kind of environment do I want to create for those around me? What kind of, feelings do I want to emanate to them? And then, what thoughts do I want to have today? Or what beliefs can I work on today? And I mean, we all have these negative beliefs or limiting thought patterns that just subconsciously flow into our minds, beliefs about how we feel at work, or beliefs about how we feel about ourselves and our ability to do things, or beliefs about how we feel about our spouse or children or just society in general. I think some of the most important are, like I said, the beliefs that we have about ourselves. And so in this morning time that we give ourselves, we can work on those beliefs. What do we want to believe about ourselves? Do we want to believe that we are capable, that we are strong, and that we can be successful, that we are happy, that we can learn and develop new skills, that we can change our current situation, that we can make friends? Do we want to believe that we do have loving relationships in our lives? Do we want to believe that there is a natural flow to life that is good, and that will ultimately things will work out? Anyway, those are things that you got to figure out for yourself. But think about, what do you want to believe? Because I know for me, those negative beliefs, or those limiting beliefs and thought patterns, are kind of like me holding that racquetball racket wrong. It just is easy. It's easier, and sometimes I still get kill shots, and so why can't I just keep doing that? Why can't I just keep thinking like that? But when I make the effort to change, to hold the racket right, to correct the way that I'm thinking, then I can hit kill shots with a lot more accuracy. I can go about my day and those interactions with others with a lot more success and happiness than if I just allowed the easiness of just thinking whatever pops into my mind to happen. So yes, it does take work, but to have anything of worth in our life is going to take work. Just like, weeds are going to grow without any effort on our part. But we've got to plant the flowers. We've got to work to help the flowers grow. And it's the same thing with our mind. And so that's the importance of this Powerhouse morning routine, is to create that foundation within ourselves, to work on those fundamentals of what goes on in our mind. And we do that by focusing on gratitude, creating a sense of abundance in ourselves, creating positive motion within ourselves to build those positive feelings. And then third, to pre-frame ourselves to create the type of empowering thoughts and beliefs that we're going to carry out throughout the day. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, just shoot me a message on Facebook or post a comment to this. I'd love to answer or explain something a little bit better or simpler if you didn't quite understand it, but I hope you can implement this into your life and start seeing the results. Have a great Friday.